Hello, my music-loving friends. As you can tell from the still at the beginning of this video, we're going to be making something where I'm using a lot of color. You don't need to use the same color that I do, but I suggest using some because it'll make it more fun and actually create some contrast that'll help you to understand. Now, before we make today's little booklet, we are going to fold and then cut this single piece of paper into 3 parts. And you're going to save all 3 of those because we're going to try not to waste paper as we're making our crafts here. You'll only need 1 today, and you'll put the other 2 aside so you have them when you make some other booklets. If you're the kind of person who really likes to be super precise, you can download the PDF that has the cut lines on it. But I am going to just fold the paper and show you how to do it without having to print something out. So turn your paper like this. When we put a piece of paper like this, this is called portrait orientation. You don't need to remember that, but if I use that term, you'll know why. And again, our goal is to fold it in thirds. That means we need 3 equal sections. So the best way to do that is to fold this part over and then to ask yourself, does this part and this part look even? And again, it doesn't need to be perfect, but if they look even, then you've got your thirds. So you see how I made my corner line up with the edge and this corner line up with the edge, and I'm holding it down, and I'm gonna smash this part a little bit. Now you can use your fingernail to make a hard crease, or you can use the handle of your scissors to make a hard crease, which is how I prefer to do it, so don't ruin my manicure. All right, so now we have 1 fold, and then we're gonna fold this piece this way so that we get our next fold. So I turned it a little bit because it's easier to hold it that way, but you're folding it right along that line. I'm going over this way. It's gonna come almost to the edge. You can see that mine's not perfect, and that is okay. We do not need to be perfect in our craft making. All right, so I've folded it over. I've gotten everything nice and straight and neat. So now I'm pressing it down and I'm smashing that side. And again, I'm gonna use my scissors like so to make a nice hard crease. Now, when we make our music crafts, sometimes we're making a fold because we want the paper to stay folded, but sometimes we're making a fold so that we just have lines either for organization or for cutting. So you see how I just kind of went backwards like this along that fold? I'm trying to make this paper be a little bit flatter. So now I have 2 lines here. Those are probably hard to see in the video, but you can see on yours the lines where you just folded. So then it's time to take your scissors and cut along those lines. All right, so here we go. As neatly as you can. Don't sweat it if something's not perfect. So there's 1, and then I have this other fold, and I'm gonna cut along there. Okay, so now I have 3 pieces of paper that are about the same size, and I only need 1 of them for today, so I'm putting the other 2 aside, but I'm not gonna lose them. I'm gonna save them for the other work that I'm doing on another day. All right, so now I have my theory book and I have this piece of paper, and our mission today is to make a little booklet here that helps us to understand dynamics. Well, what are dynamics? If you already did your first theory book, or if you've been learning in school or from your teacher, you might know that dynamics are volume changes in music. And so we're gonna make a little diagram that helps us to understand that. All right, so our first step is to fold a little tab over here, and that's where we're gonna glue it into your book. So I'm folding over just a little piece right here, and I'm lining it up so that it's as square as possible. My corners line up with the edges. Again, perfection not required. So then we're gonna smash that fold down. Here I go with the handle of my scissors. You know how I like to do. Make that crease really firm. Okay. So since that piece is gonna go here, I'm leaving a little space right here to write a title in just a moment. But right now, I'm gonna glue that piece in. Now, in this first video, I'm gonna show you how to do this with glue stick and with liquid glue. But in all of the other videos, I'm just gonna have a side-by-side of me doing that. So here we go. In this one, first I'm going to use the glue stick. I think the glue stick gives a slightly neater appearance at the end, but it's maybe not quite as sticky. So just on that little tab, I don't want to glue the whole piece of paper down, just that little tab. I'm going to put some glue on that. I'm trying to be careful not to put glue all over my theory book. And then I'm going to position this. Remember I said you want to write something here, so I'm leaving a little space, just a little bit, and then I'm positioning it so that that tab gets glued down over here near the edge. Okay, now you can see I have a little bit of extra right here, don't I? And I don't want any extra. I actually don't want this one to go over that fold. So you get your scissors and you just trim off a little piece of it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, now I'm going to do that same thing again with liquid glue, and I'm going to show you how to make that look very neat. Okay, so I'm starting with my paper. I already have the tab folded over. We already did that. When you are using liquid glue, it is important to spread it very thin. So I put just a little bit on there, close your cap, clean it off. The same finger that you just cleaned it off with, spread that around so that it's a nice thin layer, not a big glop. If you make a big glop of glue, it will show through on your cover and it won't look so fancy anymore. The positioning on this is the same. I leave a little space for a title we're about to put on. Hold it in place, make sure I like the way it's positioned, and then just smash that right on down. And of course, just like I did with the glue stick, I need to trim off a little piece so it's not going over the middle of the booklet here. So boom, there it is. So now I have this one ready.